Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. If you're a focused learner looking to finally bridge that frustrating gap between where you are and where you want to be, you are in exactly the right place. Today we're adopting a bit of a direct, tough love approach. We're going to deconstruct a fascinating yet completely debilitating human phenomenon, the idle dreamer. We're going to look at the hard psychology behind why so many of us build these incredible, massive empires in our minds, but somehow fail to lay a single brick in the real world. Okay, let's dive right into this. We all know someone like this, right? Maybe it's a friend, a coworker, or if we're being completely honest here, maybe it's us. You know the exact scenario. Someone constantly talks about this massive vision they have. They're going to build a groundbreaking business, write a best-selling book, or completely overhaul their lifestyle, and they are intensely passionate about it. But then you check in a month later, 6 months later, a year later, and absolutely nothing has changed. They're standing on the exact same square they started on. Months and years literally just evaporate without a single inch of real, tangible movement.
You know, from the outside looking in, society usually just slaps the lazy label on this or assumes it's a lack of drive. But the source material we're unpacking today reveals something entirely different. It's not laziness at all. It is a raw, incredibly powerful psychological barrier known as the architect's trap. This is a deeply ingrained mental loop where your own mind secretly becomes your biggest obstacle. Think of it as a glitch in our psychology where the brain literally confuses the act of mental planning with actual physical progress. Your brain tricks you into thinking you're moving forward simply because you're thinking about moving forward.
To really get to the bottom of this, we need to completely shatter a massive myth. The myth is that high achievers just have this rare, magical talent for dreaming bigger than the rest of us. That is entirely false. Having big dreams is actually incredibly common. The reality? Achievers simply have the ability to act, even when their own mind is actively working against them. Breaking out of this deceptive mental loop is the exact mechanism that separates those who just dream from those who actually achieve. It's all about overriding your default psychology. So let's break down the specific traps that make up this mental loop, starting with the biggest one.
That brings us to trap number 1, confusing thinking with progress. Now, this is absolutely the most dangerous trap for any ambitious person. Why? Because just imagining success literally neutralizes your urgency to actually act. Think about how the brain pulls off this trick. 90% of your energy gets swallowed up by planning and researching, which gives you this premature chemical reward. You're getting genuine satisfaction just from mapping things out. And then only 10% goes to actual physical action. The longer a goal stays purely in your mind, the more disconnected it becomes from real physical behavior. You feel productive for sure, but the reality is you've produced nothing.
So how do we actually fix this? Well, here's your first physical command. You have got to force that dream out of the mental world and into the physical world. And you do this by committing to exactly one physical action towards your goal every single day. Look, I don't care how ridiculously small it is. Write one sentence, make one phone call, buy the domain name. Come on, we've all bought a domain name we never used. Even if you just sit and stare at a blank Word document for 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. You have to create external movement to shatter the illusion of internal repetition. One physical act daily, no excuses.
And that leads us smoothly right into trap number 2, being addicted to potential rather than effort. Man, it is so incredibly easy to stay attached to the exciting fantasy of who you could be. I mean, potential is flawless, right? But effort is messy. The mental fantasy tells us that growth is this cinematic montage of constant excitement and boundless inspiration. But the physical reality? Real progress is repetitive. It is agonizingly slow, and it's often very, very uncomfortable. Because dreamers expect fireworks and inspiration, the second they hit the friction of normal, everyday effort, they assume something must be fundamentally wrong. They mistake the completely normal irritation of hard work for a red flag, and so they quit and retreat right back into the fantasy. I really want you to let this brutal psychological truth sink in for a second. What level of repetition, boredom, and uncertainty can I tolerate consistently? Seriously, stop asking the internet for the secret to success and start asking yourself that exact question. To fix this trap, you have to practice staying with boring tasks longer than feels natural. You must expect the process to feel unpleasant. Success isn't about chasing the high, it's about raising your tolerance for the mundane. Moving on, we have trap number 3, depending on emotion to begin. This is that super dangerous cycle of relying on fleeting excitement or, sudden inspiration just to get started working. The mental trap here is waiting for that perfect moment, waiting to feel truly motivated and ready to go. But think about human nature for a second. Our emotions fluctuate constantly. If your progress is tied to your mood, your progress is going to be highly, highly unreliable. When motivation disappears, your action disappears right along with it. So the physical fix here is to train yourself to start tasks in a completely neutral, uninspired mood. Action has to become a scheduled, automatic response that is entirely divorced from how you feel in that specific moment. I really want to hammer home this psychological reality. Readiness comes after action, not before it. You absolutely cannot wait for inspiration to strike before you get your hands dirty. Action generates momentum, and momentum generates motivation. If you wait to feel ready, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. All right, rolling right along to trap number 4, setting goals that are way too abstract. Look, the human brain is an absolute marvel, but it literally paralyzes when it's faced with vague, fuzzy desires like, I want freedom or I want success. While those are super inspiring, your hands have no idea what to actually do next. You must translate those abstract dreams into immediate behavioral commands. Freedom has to become, I will write 500 words at 8 a.m. A better future turns into, I will send 5 resumes every Tuesday. Success becomes, I will call 3 new clients today. You have to give your brain a command that leaves zero room for confusion or interpretation. And finally, we arrive at trap number 5, the illusion of unlimited time. This right here is the silent killer of ambition. It's that unspoken assumption that you can, just start later. Because tomorrow and next month always feel so available, the mind treats time like a bottomless resource. You postpone action without ever feeling the panic of the loss. Delaying until tomorrow doesn't hurt because tomorrow always exists in the mind. Until, suddenly, years evaporate and you've reached never. So the crucial takeaway here is that you have to forcibly inject a little panic and urgency back into your process to cure this time illusion. Create personal, strict, non-negotiable deadlines. You have to manufacture stakes that make delaying feel incredibly expensive to you. You need to force yourself into a tight time frame that simply demands immediate movement. Basically, take away your own safety net of unlimited tomorrows. To bring this whole thing together, just remember this one fundamental truth. You've got to stop living in the mental world. Start dealing with the uncomfortable physical reality of effort. Dreams are not built by intense desire alone, and they certainly aren't built by brilliant planning. They are built by the gritty, unglamorous ability to keep taking physical action day after day, even when the results are completely invisible. I want to leave you with a final, kind of provocative thought to really challenge you today. It's time to drop the toxic positivity and just be radically honest with yourself for a second. Are you actually building your dream, or are you just addicted to thinking about it? Look back at those 5 traps we just covered. Which specific psychological trap is currently holding you back the most right now? Identify it, break the loop, and force yourself to take one physical action today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.